Let us first take up the organism part of the chapter. The organisms have to interact with both abiotic component and biotic components of the ecosystem. Abiotic components are the non-living components of the ecosystem, which include temperature, water, light, and soil, whereas biotic components are the living components. These biotic components are different types of living organisms, which may be photosynthetic, autotrophs, or they may be decomposers, predators, parasites, symbionts, and so many. So we can say that in the ecosystem, the organisms have to deal with both biotic as well as abiotic components. So this is what is called as ecology, the study of organism and its environment. So the organisms have to deal with other living organisms as well as it has to interact with the non-living organisms, that is environmental factors. So we will study that there are four levels of biological organization, which are organism, population, community, and biome. And because of the abiotic components and biotic components, these different levels, they are different in with response to the climatic conditions. These climatic conditions are due to the revolution and rotation of the earth, which results in the change in the environmental factors, and as a result the organisms have to adapt accordingly. So let us take these different components one by one. So we can see that when the earth revolves around the sun, it results into different types of seasons, and these seasons are different with respect to the annual precipitation and annual mean temperature. In this chart, you can see there are different types of biomes with respect to the annual mean precipitation and mean annual temperature. If you see the tundra and desert, they both have very low rainfall, but because of the annual temperatures, they are different. Likewise, there are different types of forest: coniferous forest, temperate forest, and tropical forest. These tropical forests are actually the most suitable places where different types of biodiversity is seen, because here both annual precipitation and annual temperature are very comfortable for the living organisms. If you see in India, India has different types of biomes. That's why it is called a subcontinent. We have deserts, we have different types of forest, we have a long coastline, and we have the deserts, and we have hilly high altitude areas. So we can see there are different types of biomes present in India. In some places, the environment is very favorable, whereas in other places, the environment is very harsh. If you see, like, these are biodiversity rich areas, which means the environment is favorable for the organisms, like our Himalayas and South India, northeast areas, whereas there are some places which are very harsh, like the deserts, Meghalaya, where there is very high rainfall, and high altitude areas, and the coastal areas. So depending upon the environmental features, there are different types of biomes. These biomes are big areas having a common environmental condition. So these biomes, they actually decide what type of organisms will be there. So let us take them one by one, these environmental factors. First one is the temperature. With respect to temperature, there are different types of organisms. How do they endure these temperatures? These temperatures, with respect to the temperature, the organism may survive in very high temperatures or may survive only in a very narrow range of temperatures. We know that the organisms like mammals and birds, because they are warm blooded, they can survive in wide ranges of temperatures, whereas plants, they are very specific to a particular environment. If you see camel, this camel has adapted itself to the desert condition. It can survive in very high temperatures. Likewise, the plants present in desert like cacti, they have the spongy stem. They have the ability to reduce the transpiration because the leaves are modified to spines, and the stomata are sunken. So as a result, the loss of water from these plants is minimized. In this way, even in very harsh conditions, they can survive. Likewise, the plants which are present in these rainforest, they have drip tips and waxy surface, so that the water is not sticking to the leaves, and they are able to survive in high rainfall as well. And there are plants which are growing like climbers to get the ample sunlight. So these are the adaptations shown by the organisms to survive in different ranges of temperatures. So we can say that these abiotic factors, they play a very important role in maintaining the different types of ecological environment. So as a result, we have different types of biomes. I hope you must have understood the actual role of these different abiotic conditions. Now we will take them one by one, how these factors, they actually influence the organisms. Let's begin with the first abiotic factor, which is temperature. So when we take temperature, there are climatic conditions. When the sun is when the earth is very near to sun, the that season is considered as the summer season, so the temperature rises. So whereas when it is far away from the sun, it is winters. And there are certain places, because of the tilt of the earth, where there is always a snow present, the temperature is very low. Even in these conditions, though the environment, the organism populations are very less, but still the organisms are able to survive even in these climatic conditions. Likewise, if you see deep vents in the oceans, there are places where the temperature is very high. There are specific types of bacteria which can survive there. Likewise, kangaroo, during daytime it always remains in the burrows, whereas during night time it can come out and can go for searching the food. So we can say that there are few organisms which can tolerate and live in wide range of temperatures, whereas few, they can survive only in very narrow range of temperature. So eurythermal organisms, they can survive in wide range of temperature, whereas stenothermal organisms like dolphin, certain fishes, they can, and also the organisms living in the polar area and desert area, they can survive only in a fixed range of temperatures. They are called as stenothermal organisms. So you must know the difference between eurythermal organisms and stenothermal organisms. Okay. Now, just like stenothermal and eurythermal, that is with respect to the temperature. Likewise, when you consider the uh, water, that is osmotic potential, osmolarity, with respect to osmolarity, it may be the euryhaline and stenohaline. Okay, so now let us study the water, how the water plays a very important role in influencing the organisms in a particular biome. So we know that there are in on earth the majority of the part is having water, and these waters may be of different types. So there are some places where water scarcity is there. The organism has the ability to survive there with certain behavioral changes as well as the physiological changes. Whereas there are certain places where there is water logging all the time, marshy areas, the organisms can survive even that there in that places also. So with respect to different types of waters available, there are two types of organisms how they deal with the water availability. So these are the different chemical with respect to chemical composition, pH and salt concentrations. Water may be fresh water or saline water. We measure the salinity of the water in ppt, parts per thousand. So if the ppt is less than 10, it is fresh water, and when it is more than 100, then we say that super saline water, and when it is between 10 to 100, it is saline water. So the rivers have fresh water, oceans have the saline water, and lagoons have the hypersaline water. So these organisms which are living in water, they are also very much adapted to a specific type of water. As I mentioned, euryhaline organisms are those organisms which can tolerate a wide range of salinities, whereas the stenohaline organisms, they are present only in a specific concentration of water. That's why if we exchange a freshwater fish with a saline water fish and can change their habitat, they cannot survive. So after salinity, after water, the third parameter is light. With respect to light, the organisms also adapt, because the plants, they show flowering with respect to the photo period, the amount of light available to them. If light availability is more, the organism have the plants have to ability to produce more photosynthesis. So the primary production is very high where the light is ample, whereas in the areas where light availability is not there, the type of flora and fauna are different. So this light influences the flowering and the types of leaves, and influences based on the photosynthesis, different types of organisms are also present. So with respect to light, the organisms, they show the behavioral changes also. Some organisms, they are active during daytime, they are called as diurnal organisms, whereas some organisms which are active during night. Now if you see, depending upon the availability of light in water bodies, the different types of organisms are present in the water bodies, because the light is a limiting factor in the ocean. That's why different spectrum of light play a very important role in the type of the biomass in the ocean ecosystem. So in ocean ecosystem, though it is the there is large surface area, but with respect to that surface area, the productivity is less. The limiting factor becomes the light. So These abiotic factors, they play a very important role in influencing the organisms. So because of these abiotic factors, different organisms have to show different types of adaptations for their survival. Now we'll study different types of adaptations shown by different types of organisms. But before that, let's take up the last type of abiotic factor, that is type of soil. Type of soil influences the organisms because depending upon the type of soil, there will be different type of vegetation. If the soil composition is right, then the type of plants which will develop there will be different. So the type of soil depends upon the type of the soil particle, size of the soil particle, and depending upon the size of the soil particle, they have a different percolation rate and water holding capacity. If the water holding capacity is higher, there will be more vegetation on that earth. So as a result, the type of flora will be different, and depending upon the flora, the fauna will also be there. So we have studied that these abiotic factors, they play a very important role in maintaining the different types of organisms, and these organisms, they have to adapt with respect to these abiotic factors. So these adaptations may be morphological, physiological, or behavioral, which we will study after this.